All right. So first, I kind of just want to talk to you about what your assignment is for this week. It's essentially the same thing that you did last week. However, with my intro lesson about the story elements going over page 24 and 25, that should help you. And then I'm also going to go over the short story that you guys watched, Piper, and I'm going to kind of talk through it. I'm not going to give you the answers, but I want you to kind of think about what I'm saying to see if you can fill out this slide a little bit better than you did last time. I noticed that a lot of you kind of got confused on the resolution of the conflict, following action, and resolution of the story. So kind of take in what I talked about earlier with the story elements lesson when I talked about page 24 and 25. And then I'm going to kind of re-watch Piper with you, but I'm going to talk over it. So you're not necessarily going to hear a whole lot that's happening in there because I'm going to be talking. I may skip through some things. I may pause every once in a while. But if I am going too fast, if you feel like you need more information or more time, pause and you can do that. But essentially what you're going to be doing this week is you're going to fill out this story elements chart again. And if you want to use the one that you did earlier from last week, you can do that. Just open up 3.1 and you can find your response on there. You can kind of copy and paste some things that work. And then you can change things that you feel like you need to change. Just keep in mind that I am going to grade this one a little bit more, I don't know the word, harder, I guess. I'm focusing on the conflict and the resolution of the conflict because if you can make those two connect, everything else should fall into place. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to kind of show you the video and kind of go through that. So again, I know it looks really tiny on your screen. I apologize, but I wanted to have everything open because when I have to fill in a chart like this, I like to have my assignment open, which is what is the biggest part on your screen. I like to have the video ready, but then I also like to have my notebook next to me so I can refer back to page 24 to help me out if I'm stuck or confused or just for reference. Okay, so that's kind of a good way to get yourself organized to do this. All right, so again, if you need to pause anytime, feel free to, that's fine. And you can also go back and use your 3.1 assignment to help you as a starting point, but you're essentially doing the same thing, okay? But taking more of what I taught you in the previous portion beforehand, okay? All right, so we're gonna go through this. I'm gonna talk over it, and then you guys can take notes of those. You can have or you can have your assignment open, and you can actually start pausing and typing things in if you want, okay? All right, so here we go. So again, I'm gonna talk over it. Maybe. There we go. Oh, I paused it. Sorry. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me if I do. All right, so this is like the exposition. We're getting to know they're on a beach. There's all these birds. Piper is what it's called. And then we're just kind of getting the idea of what's going on. And everything. Then we're getting to the conflict here in just a second. There's a mama bird. He's getting some food. My bird's like, yes, I am so excited. And nothing happens. All right, so here we get to the conflict. So this poor little bird wants food and he's learning, oh my word, what am I going to do? Okay, so I'm going to pause there for a second. And this is where you're going to type the conflict. I'm going to zoom in to the resource on page 24 for a second. When we talk about the conflict, I have this part in there that says blank wants or doesn't want blank, but blank. So this is basically a character. So like Piper. Piper wants what? And you would put that in. But what's in the way? Okay. So when you fill in this conflict portion over here on your assignment, I kind of want you to follow that format essentially with that. Okay. So Piper wants blank, but what's in the way? That's the conflict. The character wants something, but they can't get it. Okay? All right, we're going to keep going. Because then after the conflict, we start the rising action, which is the majority of this story. Keep learning. Like, when I'm really hungry, I need to go out there. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep going. Crab. I'm really confused by the crab. I think that's part of the rising action. Something that is taking place is kind of helpful to know. This is when he's like, whoa, I'm under the water. I can see things. That's pretty awesome. And this is when resolution of conflict. So he has now, because again, I want things to connect. So whatever I ended up writing for the conflict down here, I want the resolution of the conflict to match. So did Piper get what he wanted? And how did that happen? Okay. So that's kind of what that portion is. And that's kind of what we just watched. He's figuring that out and he understands. Okay. And then what essentially happens now, he's like saying, yes, I figured it out. Coming into the following act, saying, hey, look what I did, Mom. This is pretty awesome. Let me teach you. Let me show you what's going on. All right. And in the very end, is what happens at the very end. He's excited. He's like, hey, I'm a grown up. That's awesome. And that, right? So what I want you to do at this point, I kind of just talked through it. If you need to rewatch that, that's fine. But I want you to try to fill in this story element chart again, like you did last week, but kind of go into more detail. Remember on the rising action, I kind of breezed through that pretty quickly. There's other things that happened in the rising action for him to learn how to solve the problem that he had. So kind of go back through that. I skipped over it pretty quickly, but you can, because I skipped through the video. But if you watch that video and you look at it again, you can see what's happening in between the conflict and the resolution to the conflict, because I kind of talked about those pretty good. But I want you to type what you think. Again, I'm going to grade this a little bit harder, so use your resources, use this video, use page 24 to help you, and just try your best. Okay? All right, good luck.